suppose the better option for while for while I'm waiting, probably hi Foxy, good to see ya. Probably the better option would just be to talk to people. So hi. Yes, shameless plug. Go follow Foxy. Dude's fucking awesome. Promoting in all the places. Don't mind me. I think that'll do. That should do for now. Okay. Hi there, people. All Foxy of you. Yeah. So today the album came out, which is super exciting. Yeah, Vengeful Spirit is a project I've been working on for the last frickin' 2.5 years. And we're going to go through the album's production story. Oh, it's fire. Half it. Heck yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Foxy. I'm glad you like it so far. And you're going to probably get a little bit of a better appreciation for it as well, given I'm going to be telling the full production background and eventually how I came to come up with the story. So we're actually going to start on my Newgrounds page here. Back in 2021 with the very first song that I ever did for this album. This is the original first mix that I made for Dark Heart, for track number second. I can talk, I swear. Track number 7 on the album. It was around the time that I was starting to figure out how to do all my mixing and stuff, and I decided that I was going to try and write a song kind of around the idea of it being like a boss fight in a video game. And I just finished Undertale and I was going absolutely crazy about Undertale at the time. So it was very inspired by like the idea of Undertale. So just like getting motifs down. But this is what it sounded like. There's so much reverb. Also, freaking synths are so low. You know, it's Dark Heart. You've heard Dark Heart. It's on the album. It's track number 7. It's one of the very first things that you hear in the first like 20-something minutes of the album. Like the biggest difference is just the fact that the guitars start differently. It's one guitar straight down the middle, but it's not got that weird filter thing that I did, and it was something that I did for fun, because of course it was. And it had been a long time since I did an original composition. Yeah, the music video is actually out now. But yeah, like this was like the initial first idea that ended up leading to the rest of the album was this. And yeah, this was where the idea started. I then followed that up with One's Darkness. One's Darkness is Another's Light. I hate that. I hate that so much. I formally apologize for that short description. So yes, I followed it up immediately with One's Darkness, track 21, I believe that is. Yeah, like this was before I had come to the idea of like the album itself. I didn't have the concept for the album yet at this point, so this was exactly as you expected. I remember like thinking, I really love this drum fill. Hello, David. I hate how this guitar sounds. Which it's I'll once we get to these songs going through the album itself, I'll probably A-B them But yeah, I actually came up with the idea. There's a little guitar phrase in the background here. That clean guitar part I actually came up with in a guitar store trying out pickups before realizing that the pickups didn't really affect much. And then came the title track, the original version of Vengeful Spirit, which was at the time when I released this in June 2021. It was actually called Blood Sun, believe it or not. I actually originally intended for Aspirations, what ended up becoming Aspirations, to be the title track, just because it was like my hopes and dreams, and I fucking love Hopes and Dreams from the Undertale soundtrack. But a friend of mine suggested that I pick a different song that actually fits the title, and it was this one. And it's this. No energy transfer at all. So, yeah, it's like, the problem I have with these is that the structures didn't change. I guess the only other thing of note is this chorus section. So that melody was unique to this song specifically, and I figured putting the Storytime motif would make more sense. So I put the Storytime motif. Then the Factory came after that. This was after I got my Sterling JP60. And this was the first song that I wrote with it. Nothing too special. It's the Factory. I suppose the only other difference. It's this drop section. The way I did it now was the stops there, and I think that makes the impact a lot stronger. Then the Cemetery followed, and the Cemetery had a big change in terms of the clean guitar part. Also, the mixing changed a lot at this point, so... Oh, no impact at all. And then Skylines was the last single that I released before this album disappeared for 2 years, which, hey, it's been almost exactly 2 years. In fact, in 7 days, it'll be 2 years since I put this out. You know, it's Skylines. You've heard this song before. And then that's kind of it. Nothing else happens until 2022 when the songs actually get released. And that now brings me to the behind the scenes and why this album took so long to come out. So I go into this thing with projects that I'm particularly fond of, like this, like Vengeful Spirit, where I don't want to finish it unless I'm 100% completely happy with it, only to then realize that I'm not 100% completely happy with it when it releases, but like that's how it was with my Undertale medley from back in 2021. And so I spent the entirety of the last 2 years trying to perfect it, going through multiple different mixing strategies until ultimately it became what I think is exactly what it needed to be. But also, I wanted to have a real drummer on this album. And it's 30 tracks. It's 31 tracks. It's kind of unfair for me to ask a drummer to learn 31 pieces of music, especially when it's something on the level of like Metallic Clanking or Blood Sun. So I was expecting it to take a while to do. And I I went through two different drummers. One was insanely busy, and that's fair. He has his own band and stuff like that, so I'm not particularly upset. And then the other one was one of my close friends in college. And it was over the last year we had been intending on doing the album. We'd been intending on doing the album when we actually were able to make time for it and actually had a studio space to do it in. And that ended up not happening. There's a few legalities behind it that I actually can't get into for a few reasons. Primarily because I'm on good terms with that college right now, so I don't want to burn any bridges, as it were. So we ended up deciding not to go with a live drum kit for this album. We tried desperately to get a studio space to actually record this album, but that ended up not happening. And so I ended up using Superior Drummer like I had always done. But I'd learned so much about mixing in that 2 years that it was actually kind of worth it to wait that long anyway, because I was going to be remixing it regardless. So we're going to now get into this, but first things first is I would like to extend a couple thank yous, which I did in the description of Storytime, and I think in all of these songs. But this album would not have happened without the incredible support of my dear friend Sonic Buster, who over the last 2 years I've sent demos and early recordings of this album, or songs on this album to, and she has been all for getting this finished. And in fairness, she gave me some advice that I didn't really heed, and I think she was right, which was that I should have made OST versions and then in-game soundtrack versions. And she was totally right about that. This all of these were pretty much exactly as I had envisioned them at first, and they are actual video game soundtrack songs. Shattered Soul is the Game Over theme, for instance. But I should have expanded upon the arrangements for the album versions instead of pretending this is just video game soundtrack stuff. Yeah, the game doesn't exist, but it's video game soundtrack stuff. So I should have heeded her word on that, but she has been immensely supportive of this album over the last 2.5 years that I've been working on this. I would also like to thank Zachary Warnick for playing keyboard and pianos on Storytime and Sheltered. Super last minute, well, not last minute on Sheltered, but on Storytime, I asked him if he would be willing to put on some keyboard and pianos on Storytime and Sheltered, and he was more than happy to say yes. And also to Ian Larson for making the orchestral arrangement of Storytime that I added metal to, which ended up being used in the trailer. So this was the version of Storytime that you heard in the trailer, and it's a bonus track, so shout-outs to Ian Larson. To Tag Bradbury, he was the initial drummer that I'd asked to do drums for this, and despite the fact that we didn't end up going with anything that he recorded at all, I thank him endlessly for saying yes and for being one of my closest friends and one of my closest measures of support. In the real world, at least. Someone else, that's a better measure of support, honestly. No insults to to Tag himself. But, yeah, to Alec Lowe for being willing as the first drummer to say yes to this project, and then that kind of not happening because he didn't really have time, which is fine. Let's see, who else is there? To Good Boy Spiffy, the creator of Wolf's Hotel, which I'm composing music for creating this album art, which is the perfect face for this album, I actually think. I'm really excited about this album art, and I really love what he did. Spiffy and I are actually working quite closely together now. I'm doing music for it's Wolfie's Hotel. I keep on saying Wolf's Hotel. Spiffy, if you watch this VOD, I keep saying Wolf's Hotel. It's Wolfie's Hotel. I know it's Wolfie's Hotel. But I keep on, like, I'm doing the music for Wolfie's Hotel alongside this guy called Ronnie. He does EDM music. I've not actually heard what he does, but that's okay. And he's actually doing some more art for me to update my icon right now. So shout outs to Spiffy. Freaking love that guy. And trying to think of who else there was. I know that there's people that I mentioned in the descriptions of these. I suppose probably what I ought to do is, without further ado, shall we get into listening to the album? Because that's what we're all here for, is to listen through this entire nightmare of a record that it was. It wasn't really a nightmare. I had so much fun with this project. Anyway, let's jump into story time, featuring Zach Warnick playing the piano in the intro, and for all of it, actually. So, the idea for this song, this is the intro theme. This is the Undertale Once Upon a Time of the album. This introduces this motif that you're hearing right now, the storytime motif. And this album is very motif-based. I'm actually going to pull up the spreadsheet I have for this. Just so that it's so good to see it as green blocks. But yeah. Well, anyway, whatever. So this is introducing the album, introducing the whole concept and everything. I love this song quite a lot, and I'm probably not going to play through all of the songs, and I will be pausing as we go, just because they're only like 3 minutes long and there's a lot I have to say. But like this chord progression. I love this chord progression so freaking much. I think it's friggin' awesome. So, we're not quite into the game yet, and it's beyond this point. Sorry, I'll let the metal come in here really quick. Fucking explodes. Yeah, get that XFX going. So we're not quite into the game yet. There is an entire story that I wrote out for this. It's not perfect, and there's a lot of plot holes in it, but whatever. But there is an entire story to it, and I'm going to tell it as we go. We're not quite into the story yet, though. This is just introducing, like, this is the title screen, which then leads into the character creator. Which, when it follows this... It's funny when it follows this. You just go into this. There are some songs that are massive tonal whiplash, but I love this. I love it going from storytime into creating the vessel. There are some others that I particularly love too. So this song just does the storytime motif and then the motif in the last part of the distortion section in storytime. I forget what I called that. Might have just been called Aspirations or something. I think it was called Aspirations. But... oh, it's only, like 54 seconds long. You know, it's not crazy. Which then leads into the forest. This is Area 1. So your character wakes up in this forest and begins to explore it, and this is the music that's playing in the background. It didn't need to be super metal stuff, but you do run into this this figure who is sort of guiding you through the forest and make sure that you don't die, and you like learn the methods of battle, which engage the enemy is for. But you just I probably should have gone with a clarinet instead of a flute, but that's okay. I love this section so much. Chromatic walkdowns are my favorite. It's pretty cool. Anyway, also this song has it like mixes 3/4 and 4/4, but whatever. But yeah, you're going through this forest. You meet this individual who is guiding you through the forest. Making sure you don't die, and like you end up learning the methods of battle with this song. So this is your regular enemy battle theme. So throughout every single area, there are just regular enemies that you encounter. And this is the music that plays. Break out that 8 string. No, it's that guy. It's that one. It's a good song. I really like this song. So, yeah, these are regular battles. You learn the mechanics of battle. If you die, you hear this. This is the game over theme. So engage the enemy uses melodies that are pretty much only unique to it. So does the forest. There's one melody in the forest that is actually shared among other songs. In fact, it's probably the most common motif that I used. This song uses one of the motifs from Engage the Enemy, and it also uses the Storytime motif. So the Storytime motif, right here. Just not syncopated, but it's adjusted to suit 3/4. Anyway, the Dark Heart motif. This is just the character theme for the individual that you meet in the forest. It's not particularly special. You know, there's not really a lot to say about this. It just kind of is. I also love this organ in the background. It's so cool. And then that leads into Dark Heart. So you end up making it to this individual's cabin, and then you try to leave because you want to go out and explore the rest of the world. I haven't thought of a story reason for this yet. I still need to figure that out. I do kind of want to turn this into a game, and I need to figure out a lot of story details anyway. But you try to leave, and then you can tell it's very inspired by Undertale when the individual tries to stop you, tries to get you to prove yourself. And this is the music that plays. Yeah, it's Dark Heart. You've heard Dark Heart. This is, I guess, now's the time. Whoops, when we can A/B against the original version, because it sounds very different. So here's the original version of Dark Heart, if I can find it. It's way more rounded off, and that's better. So, anyway. Oh yeah, also the Dark Heart motif itself right here. So good. I love this Dark Heart motif. I think I did it better in the second chorus. Just for this section coming up right here. Right. Works better melodically. Anyway, when you win the battle, you're eventually allowed to leave, and then you go to the town. The very small town of Millreach. A town with a dark secret. That's what this acoustic guitar gives me. And that was, you can't actually see it, it's not on video, but it's over there. My Teton acoustic guitar. I really like this song, though. Some of the absolute OGs of my channel will remember a song I made called Chorus of the Dragons, which actually uses this chord progression. Literally this arpeggio. Anyway, bring in the distortion. And a rhythm riff. A rhythm riff that became a motif of its own, somehow? I don't quite know. It's weird. But this riff is super cool. Anyway, so in this area, you meet two characters that have their own themes. The first character has the theme of senseless aggression. And if I pull up their backstory sheet here, if I can find it. This song's in 11/4, by the way. So this is a character who, sorry, just let the drop here happen. So this is a character that is a bit passive-aggressive, childhood bullying, being involved in, quote, activities which left them broken and scarred, end quote, which is where the song title of Scars came from. I'm going to move this over here. Yeah, they're in the town of Millreach, which is to the east of the forest. Childhood bullying, got into drugs and drinking before they were supposed to. I'll put it this way: they were in with a bad group of friends. They left that group of friends, but then they realized that there's only so much that they can fix the damage, which sucks. So you get this theme out of it. And one of my favorite things is the fact that if you listen like in order. If you listen in order as the song's fading out, this happens as it leads into Sheltered. This again featuring the amazingly talented Zachary Warnick on guitar, piano. He's on piano and keys and stuff. So the original version of this song that I had, I guess I can pull it up really quick. The original version of this song that I had was way longer. Like, it was 2 minutes and 24 seconds and super slow. Not what it needed to be. It needed to be this instead. This was the first song that I wrote with that thing. It's my jazz guitar, my jazz archtop that I only use for Wolfie's Hotel right now. But yeah, just a straight ahead jazz bossa kind of thing. Pretty fun. Anyway. When you try to leave, so what the first story or the first character here, senseless aggression, is doing, over the entirety of the town of Millreach, you are led into a couple of traps. Yes, this is Undertale. Don't judge me. It's an Undertale. It's an Undertale fan game with unique characters. That's what it is. You're led into a whole bunch of different traps, and sheltered character here. I don't have names for them. Is helping you get through all of the traps and stuff, and showing you like little secrets, little breaks in the fold. I don't know. I'm just saying words now, but like just little secrets, little hints and tips, little pro tips, if you will. Now, sheltered character here. They're smart but humble. They play dumb. They're sibling to senseless aggression character, and so like they try to dumb themselves down, but like they try to dumb themselves down in the presence of their kin, their blood kin, and are essentially just playing up their stupidity for effect when they're actually really, really smart. But as you're leaving Millreach, you get trapped one more time after you inadvertently insult senseless aggression character, and then you get this. And this, in my opinion, is the weakest of the boss battle themes on this album. You know, it's okay. Let's do it like this. There we go. Unique melody that's only used in this song. I really like this chord progression, though. Shame it's in a kind of ass song, you know? Anyway, after you leave this, after you leave the town of Millreach, you then make it to the factory. Now, a couple things to note about this song. So, what is told, the story that's told about the factory is that a nuclear accident occurred inside of the factory many, many years ago. Now, because it's my rules, I get to decide how this works, and the nuclear accident was localized to the inside of the factory, so it the fallout never leaked out. But every single person inside of the factory died. That's the story that most of the world knows, and they know nothing more than that. And the reason why you, the main character, are able to walk through the factory is not explained at this point in the game. So I'll leave that a mystery for now. But there, you are able to walk through the factory without protection and be perfectly fine. It will make sense once we get to later on in the album. But you get this really cool song out of it. Now recorded on my Schecter Damien. My Schecter Damien. I love this song so much. So here's another cool little note about this song, is that So the drums specifically. The drums are very on the grid. They're very snapped to the grid. In fact, they are deliberately quantized to the grid. But in this chorus section, I offset them a little bit. You can kind of hear it. Like you could hear a little flamming there from the kick and the snare. It's pretty cool, though. And then right after this, right back to that grid. Now, there's a reason for this. In this area, you meet a robot. They're a malfunctioning robot. Yes, Undertale, blah, 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 blah. I was very inspired by Undertale, don't judge me. I still am very inspired by Undertale, don't judge me. Whoops, don't do that. I have sponsor block. Don't judge me. Yes, clear it. That's fine. They're a malfunctioning robot. They are a robot that had a single line of code that went wrong that threw off the rest of their code. But they're also, like, sentient enough to know that what they're doing is wrong and they don't want to be doing it. Like, they destroyed all the other robots that work in the factory since everyone now works remote because, you know, it's a nuclear disaster place. Like, they got a usable resource out of it, but destroyed... this one robot destroyed all the rest of them and is now on their own, roaming the place, but they don't really want to be alone, and they know that they shouldn't have destroyed all the robots. So, yeah, that then leads into this. You get the idea. This song is super simple. It doesn't need to be super crazy. But this is the theme of said robot. Now, while you're in the factory, you come across these upgrade stations. It's divided into like 4 or 5 something different levels that you're supposed to go up. I don't actually have any idea what specifically. But you go up, and on every end of these platforms, there's an upgrade station, and you run into these upgrade stations, and someone talks to you through them. Specifically through the third one, probably. I don't know. I'm making this up on the spot now. It's a person who works remote. They ask what you're doing there, and you kind of explain everything. But like they work remote. They work at a distance. This is their theme. I really like this song, though. Now, a little fun fact is that, the Dark Heart melody is in the background of this little section. It's the Dark Heart melody. So that's that. But then you get to the top, and the robot explains that due to its code, it can't let you leave, but it knows that it shouldn't be keeping you there. So your job is to try and capture it and take it to the upgrade station so that the code can be fixed. But during that, you get this song. I love this song a lot. Cool little 7 groove here. Cool little breakdown here. And just this cool little clean part. I really like this section, to be honest. Well, yeah, this boss fight concludes, and then you get this. This is just a little short break in the action, honestly. The next song is a bit of a journey, as it were. But this particular song is supposed to be the robot thanking you for fixing them and getting them fixed. So this just plays in the background. It's just a loop of story time. And congratulations, you've heard the whole song. All right, on to Skylines. So you leave the factory at this point, and in the distance you can see the skyline of the next area that you're going to, which is the town of, or the city of Illister. Now, it's pronounced Illister, not Illicester, because it's based off of the English pronunciation, like, even if I can spell it, is the town of Leicester, which is pronounced
Leicester.
Leicester, in Leicestershire. It is pronounced Leicester.
Leicestershire.
So don't question me. I have English blood. But you can see the town off in the distance, and it's this winding journey to take you there. There's no battles in this section. You just take this journey going through like different suburbs of the city and exploring all kinds of different places. And this is the music that plays in the background. We're also just over halfway done going through the album. This is going to be a short stream, isn't it? I muted the wrong one. Okay, so this song also introduces motifs that are going to appear throughout Illister. Also, steal a riff from myself. Ready for this? Which, if you know anything about my music, that is from this song. This is my song Leo from my Zodiac album. It's pretty sweet. It's a cool little riff, and then a little synth solo here. so sick. It's such a sick solo. I love that. All right. So next we go to the song Illuster itself. Very much based off of Periphery's Crush. Very inspired by it, at least. Like, this is structurally kind of similar, but like, it kind of goes off in its own direction at a certain point. But there's a little fun hidden fact about this. Do you hear the guitar? It's in both ears, but it's really buried underneath. That's the H string again, for starters, but it's buried there. It is there, though. Yeah, this is exploring a like a cityscape, and like when I think of cities and stuff like that, I think of synthwave. So I went kind of ish in that direction, but like a very aggressive synthwave. Is then followed up by Under Dim Lights. You meet this character who reveals themselves to be a family friend of the first boss. Note, actually, sorry, there's stuff I forgot. So the first boss mentions that, or mentions the nuclear accident and that they lost their family and now they live in the woods. They used to live in the city of Illuster. It's my album, I should know how to pronounce things. They live in the city of Illuster. And, or used to. And they moved away because they became super reclusive, super depressed, because, you know, they lost their fucking family. They lost a spouse and a child. That's it. And then this is a family friend of that family. So this is their theme, Under Dim Lights. And they, kind of show you around the city, but are like kind of avoiding this thing that you keep bringing up, because they seem so depressed and you're trying to figure out why. Yeah, it's just the one melody, and then it leads into Late Night Drive. So you go on a couple taxi drives during this, and this is the music that plays in the background of it. There are a couple of taxi drives that you go on, and this is the song that plays. And due to, like, the character that this is associated with, the taxi driver himself, he's a pretty minor character overall, being only present twice in Area 4, for the 2 taxi drives that you need to take. But they are a very close friend of the Area 4 boss. So... and they only have like 5 lines, just like where are you going and thank yous, basically. But the last line that they have is keep an eye on them. They're on the verge of slipping off the razor's edge when referring to the boss character. This is the last line that you hear from the taxi driver. So this is the only taxi in Area 4, and the population is so small in Illuster that they didn't really need anything more. And because of that, there's this friendship that they built up with each other, the taxi driver and the Area 4 boss. So there's a connection there. I also played the piano on this. This was my piano. Also this solo. I'm so proud of this solo. Referencing other melodies, obviously, including Storytime. Anyway, you get dropped off at this outside of this diner, and the boss 4 is now kind of upset at like you trying to prod and pry at them and try and get the secrets out. When in reality, you're just trying to reassure them and talk to them. And then you get One's Darkness. And this, of course, being the new version of it. Oh yeah, something of note about Late Night Drive as well is that I did have a version of that which was like a full band thing with like a real drummer, keyboard player or a piano player, and a bassist, and then myself. Ended up not using that for a few legal reasons, frankly. Don't really want to get into it, so. Anyway, One's Darkness. This, of course, being the Area 4 boss theme. That clean part again. I really like this song. That's why I'm not talking over it or skipping, really. Could have stood to turn that bass down, frankly. Also, Dark Heart's in the background of this section. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool little song. And then it fades out back into the intro again. Copyright 2017 by me. Anyway, so after this, we get another heartfelt moment. It's just the same song, but with different instruments. You know, I could have stood to not have these in the album, but that's okay. I don't really particularly care that much. I think they needed to be there just as like little breaks, especially considering another long journey beyond this. So we continue heading a little bit more to the east, and then you get to The Cemetery, which is my personal favorite song on the album. I may have said Dark Heart was, but this song is. So it's, of course, a graveyard. You're just exploring through it. Very inspired by Satellites by Periphery. I love this song so much. I especially love this little clean part coming up here. Pretty good. Pretty good. And then also this drop actually works. Now that fucking hits, bro. It's so good. I love this song. I think it really fits the cemetery vibe, too. It's just back to this here. I love how it opens up into this. Just to have this a little bit lower. It's okay. And then it goes. Ah, it's so good. I freaking love this song. Anyway, so beyond this point, now we get into heavy lore details. So, here's what you need to know. In this area, in the cemetery, you meet the spouse. I don't like saying spouse all that much. I'm going to say husband. You meet the husband of the first area boss, the ghost of them. You find them wandering around the cemetery, and eventually after you follow them for long enough, Long Ago starts playing, and they tell this story. Now, I will say, the story that I wrote here, I would improve upon now. There's a lot that I would fix, but I will go through the entire next song, and I will read out what this character says. This is a long dialogue sequence, a massive lore dump, but here's how it works. I remember the day of the accident. I brought my son to work because they were interested in what I do. I worked at the factory, which was a nuclear power plant, until the accident. I offered to bring him in, and he graciously accepted. Before I left that day, however, I'd seen reports of malfunctions in the workplace, but we were still required to come in. I was afraid to go, but couldn't let my kid down. Little break in them to allow the music here for a second. Also, this song is in 7/4. Just to give it that kind of lurchy feeling, like you're kind of like trying to walk but can't quite walk perfectly. You know? That's the whole idea behind it being in 7/4. Anyway, continuing. The second we entered the building, a flash of light crossed my vision. I was prepared to run, but it was already too late. It happened so fast. I felt sudden heat, and a ball of fire enveloped me. And then everything went white, for what felt like forever. Now, there does need to be more dialogue here. There needs to be more said here. Because the next lines of this are supposed to happen when the break happens. We'll get up to this section. But then I woke up here in this cemetery. I was so confused and felt so lost. I called out to my wife, but nobody responded. I called out to my son, but nobody responded. That was many years ago, and I've been wandering the cemetery for so long, I'm not sure my wife is even still alive. It had been so long since I've seen anyone that I wonder what my old friends have been doing. But I've been watching your progression. There was a certain energy you admitted that I could tap into, so that I was able to watch your adventure vicariously through you since Millreach. Your every decision, your every move. I've seen it all. I don't know what it is about you, but you give off quite the energy. And I must say, I'm kind of jealous. Not kind of, very, very jealous. I lost my wife, my son, my life, my future, and here you are making friends with everyone I used to know. And now you're here? Why? To rub what I could have had in my face? Ha! That's just like you, isn't it? Enough is enough. Your journey ends here. If a ghost is a vengeful spirit, then my point of vengeance is to kill you. That's it. That's the whole story. again, I would expand upon it, and I'd probably do a little bit better job with the writing for it, but that's the general idea. So, yeah. Then it just ends like this. One of my favorite things is the fact that and that's it. That's where the song ends. Nothing more. Not another note is played. It ends on that B flat. Isn't that cool? Anyway, then we get into his boss fight and its nuclear burns. Right, it's 3 measures. I really like this song a lot, by the way. Gotta bring out story time, obviously. But then we have a melody we've not heard yet. I also love this little riff here. And then story time. And it just loops from there. So, this is the music that plays in the background of that boss fight. And then, it is after this that you finally learn the reason why you're able to go into the factory and be fine. And also why this 5th boss is able to tap into whatever energy you had. It was that you are the reincarnation of the titular character of the Vengeful Spirit. It's only now that you learn this. You don't know this up to this point. You are the reincarnation, and you have an attachment directly to the world that gives you some special abilities. Again, I'm not really expanded upon this. I'm telling this story like it's super deep. It's really not yet. But you are told to go back to the factory, as that is where it's been said the Vengeful Spirit himself remains. So, you go back to the factory, get to listen to the factory music again, but then you go into one specific room, a hidden room that you're able to unlock at this point in the game, or that wasn't unlocked before at least. And then this plays. Sure, it's fucking haunting, isn't it? And you get this backwards piano. I probably would have thrown like more distortion, like a lo-fi filter on it, but it's pretty cool. Sorry, drink was getting cold. So this is a song that builds and builds and builds. There's only 2 sections, technically. But it just builds. You get these ghostly post-rock things. It's really cool. But what's important to note is that this song, Wandering Spirit, starts playing when you enter the room where you find the titular Vengeful Spirit himself. You find him there, and then you follow him throughout the entire factory, and this music is playing in the background the whole time. And this frickin' drop, dude. So sick. It's so cool. And another fun fact, this song is a quarter step flat. So it's not quite D minor. And I love doing that. It's like almost but not quite D minor. Just like Asgore's boss battle theme and his theme itself. It is not C sharp minor, it is D minor. So, after this, you then enter the boss. It's in 3 phases, starting with the album's title, the title track. We've heard this, obviously. Yeah, this is, of course, the song that everybody knows. It's the audio only if you want to listen to that. So, this is phase 1, and it's literally just exhaust the dialogue, you win. Exhaust his dialogue, and then you can move on to other things while also surviving his attacks. You can't attack back. Doesn't do any physical damage to him because he's a ghost. So, it won't. But then, he does like the Asriel Hypergoner thing from Undertale before we go into the second phase of battle with Asriel. And you get taken to this kind of ethereal, like, in-between dimensions plane thing where you get this song. The lowest and heaviest song on the album. It's so good. Now, something I would like to note. This is not what this song was going to be in the first place. Here is the original version. If I can find it. Hang on. It's under 2022. Here's the original version of it that I had. I'm glad you remember the Sonic Blaster remake. I appreciate that. But that's the original version, and this is what the song became. It's also technically the fastest song on the album, but, you know. Anyway. So this is section 2, and then you have to try and summon the his dead father, boss 5. Watched it a few seconds ago. Heck yeah. I'm glad you like the Sonic Blaster cover. The remade one that I did. I'm hoping it was the remade one that I did anyway. I'm glad you liked it. So you have to summon boss 5. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Like, genuinely thank you. I do appreciate that. Thank you. So you summon boss 5, and then you get aspirations. Hey, look, it's the Storytime motif. Remember that from the start? Pretty cool little song, right? Just kind of is what it is. This is just the last phase of combat, and then you're done beyond this point. Does recycle one of the versions of Heartfelt, which then after that kind of gets you to the credits. I don't really have any transition to the credits at this point, but you just get the credits. The song's pretty damn good, I will say. Right ear there. That's really distracting. I should have turned that down. Anyway, this little piano part's really cool. I love this ending. I do actually really like this ending. Legitimately, I think a great way to end this album. It just stops there. I'll reach 2.5K someday. I appreciate that. It kind of slowed down after the initial jump. Yeah, I guess the original Sonic Blaster and then the Falling Mists cover really blew up over the last couple months. But now that I've hit 1,000 subscribers, it's really slowed down. And I kind of don't like that, but you know, whatever. I chose to release original music when most of the people are here for covers of music from Newgrounds anyway, so whatever. It is how it is. The last song, which is a bonus track, is just the trailer theme. But here's the full song. You actually get to hear the full thing this time. Shoutouts to Ian Larson for doing this, which I wonder if he's posted about it at all. He is not. Okay. That's fine. Shoutouts to Ian Larson, seriously. dude does an incredible job with composing, honestly. I just threw my guitars over it. That's all I did. I threw guitars, drums, and bass, and that was all I did. Sounds good. And yes, we are going to listen to this entire thing, because it's the one thing that I haven't actually really shown in full anywhere. This part. I kind of ruined it, but just that little walk down is so good. Slows down again. Great, Ian. I love it. So good. I freaking love what Ian did with this. Ian, if you ever watch this VOD at all, fucking well done, dude. Genuinely. I know some of it was stuff that I added, but like the arrangement itself that you came up with is so good. Shoutouts to Ian Larson. Go listen to his music. I genuinely love the stuff that he does. Regardless, that is Vengeful Spirit from beginning to end. There's some story stuff that I do need to expand upon if I'm going to actually turn it into a proper video game. But I'm immensely proud of this album that I've done. And I'm immensely proud of the product that I've created. And, like, even if it's a slow burn of success or whatever, like, I don't really care that much. The fact that after 2.5 years this album finally came out is immensely exciting to me. It's been a long time coming and a long time in the works, going from just simple demos over on Newgrounds of just ideas that I was having to a full-fledged album with a story to go behind it in more ways than one. So, whatever happens, thank you very much, everyone, for my support. And thanks to everyone who I mentioned at the start of the stream. Thanks to everyone who helped make this album what it is. And thanks everyone who was supporting my music this year overall. I'm so glad that I hit 1,000 subscribers this year, the year that I'm releasing this. And again, if it's a slow burn, because I know a lot of you are here just for the metal covers of Newgrounds music, and that's fine. Even if this is a slow burn, I'm still very excited to finally have this out. So, thank you. Thank you very much for your support. And thank you for listening to it, if you did. Thanks again to Ian, Zach, Sonic Buster, Good Boy Spiffy, to Tag, to all of them for helping make this album what it ended up becoming. So there's a lot of excitement in my heart around this. I was worried I wouldn't sleep last night, which I'm glad I did, because I wanted to be awake for this stream instead of just freshly out of bed. But yeah. So again, thank you, and I cannot say that enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A special little additional treat is that I will be adding this entire album in full, the high quality WAV files. I'll be adding it to my Google Drive folder. All the songs will be in here. Now, what I do note in the README is important. If it's going to be background music on a stream, then please, 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 please reach out to me first and make sure that there's a clear text asset that says it's by me. And I know a lot of people do this stuff manually, but just make sure that it's very obvious that it is me, and like, you don't have to link directly back to me, but just make sure that people know that it's me, AlphaStorm Music, copyright AlphaStorm Music. So make sure to do that, and remember, do not redistribute these files, be it individual tracks or entire folders, ever. My music, regardless, don't care. And do not claim any of these songs as your own. Like, I'm not asking you to go out and suss people out when I say this, but I'm asking you, like, if you see people who are, like, redistributing or claiming music to be theirs when it's very clearly mine, please let me know. I do need to issue takedown requests. I had one already that I had to do back in 2021, which thankfully it's not happened a lot more, but still. Like, if you want to use these songs as background music, then feel free to do so. Just credit me clearly. But if you're going to use it for bigger projects, if you're going to use it for projects like background music for, I don't know, a game review or something, or in the case of Vengeful Spirit specifically, you actually want to use one of these songs as background music for an entire area or a boss battle or something, then reach out to me. Send me an email to alphastormcontact@gmail.com, and we can discuss getting that figured out, because something like Vengeful Spirit I am not willing to give away willy-nilly. So, with that being said, I'll be adding all these songs. In fact, you can watch me do it right now. I'll be adding all of them to the originals folder here. And if people want me to release the old demos, then I will. But I'm not massive on that. So we're just going to drop all of them in there. Slowly, all 30 songs, all 31 songs are going to be in there. So that's exciting. I may have to update the README specifically, and I'm apprehensive to do this, but it's the least I can do for all the support that I've garnered this last year, and also just being a good person. I enjoy giving my music out for free, but please just don't do that. Don't steal this music. And like, if the reason why I do this as well is that I have Patreon, so please support me on Patreon. Patreon.com/AlphaStorm Music. This place where I do occasionally post things. This is mostly related to my covers. I didn't post anything related to Vengeful Spirit on here, but go support me on Patreon. $1 a month is the minimum. Where you'll get access to videos really early, a day early. Get tabs, you get mix breakdowns if you want to see more of my process, which I'm doing a massive series about my mixing stuff next year, so you won't have to worry too much about that, shall we say. Because my mixing is usually the same, but I'm trying to take a different direction when it comes to mixing, but you will get mix breakdowns. And also Patreon exclusive Discord chat and voice rooms. So if you want all that stuff, you can head on over to patreon.com/AlphaStorm Music. Support me $1 a month, no more. I don't need any more than that. If you support $10 a month or higher, I just give you everything from the below tier, and you get your name at the end of my videos. Like, that's the best I can do. I'm sorry. I can't do anything more than that because, man, I always struggled to think of things to put on here. Maybe I'll add merch. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, with that, Vengeful Spirit is out everywhere. Please, everyone, go and listen to it. Share it with anyone who will listen to you. And thank you guys for an incredible 2023. I have a couple more music videos that are releasing later on today. Music video for The Factory just came out here. So this just came out. I have 3 more that are coming after that. But yeah. After that, I can finally put Vengeful Spirit behind me, aside from maybe playing like live shows. I might do a live stream related to this album. Just playing through every single song all the way through. No stopping. An hour and 17 or an hour and 20 minutes worth of music. Probably not the last song. Probably not the Ian Larson arrangement of Storytime. Just because that's got weird tempo changes and stuff like that. Regardless, I'm rambling now. Please go listen to the album. Please go support the album. Listen to it on like Spotify and all the other places. It's up completely for free on my YouTube account as well, where I don't make any money, and that's fine. But yeah, thank you guys very much, and I will see you guys in the future. I guess the next time where I'll actually be live is on the 31st for this year's retrospective. So thank you guys, and I'll see you then.